World's richest person, life of Mansa Musa. Below everyone, the richest man in the world in the 21st century is Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon company, who surpassed Microsoft's owner Bill Gates with his fortune of $105 billion as of 2018. But the richest man in human history comes out of Africa, the poorest continent in the world today. Mansa Musa, who ruled the Mali Empire covering today's Ghana, Timbuktu, and Mali lands in the 14th century AD, still holds the title of the richest person in the world, with a fortune of $400 billion, 700 years after his death. Musa, whose real name was Kanka Musa, was nicknamed Mansa, which means the King of Kings, that is, the emperor in the language of Amharic, and when his father did not return from his campaign in 1312, he took the throne at the age of 32 and ruled the Mali Empire until 1337, when Mansa Musa came to the throne in 1312. While most of Europe was devastated by famine and civil wars, many Islamic countries and African kingdoms were getting richer day by day. In fact, what Moses did was to bring the fruits of this wealth in his region to his kingdom. He strategically annexed the city of Timbuktu and regained power over the city of Gao, gaining control of important trade routes between the Mediterranean and the West African coast, making the gigantic Mali Empire of 400 cities the most important commercial and cultural center of the African continent. In fact, Timbuktu, the capital city, has gained such a reputation both culturally and financially that it became the meeting point of the leading Middle Eastern scientists, thinkers, and artists of the time. Mansa Musa provided the most important people and scholars of those years with every opportunity to settle in Timbuktu. He opened the world's largest university in this city at that time, and students from all over the Islamic world had a brain drain. Besides being a good leader, Moses was a good commander and a brave warrior. During his reign, he added salt and gold trade to the country's income sources, as well as the spoils obtained from the conquests, and these conquests not only increased the spoils but also the expansion of the country's borders. Thus, the Mali Empire rolled over wide and rich geography from Niger, which is famous for its copper mines in the east, Tekra in the west, Volta Calon, which is famous for its forested region in the south, and most importantly, the salt mines of the Sahara in the north. Mansa Musa played smart and focused on regions strong in terms of minerals and raw materials. Moses, who had an incredible wealth during his lifetime, was also a very religious ruler, described by historians as an exemplary person with his devotion to his faith and respect for other religions. Musa also laid the foundations of African architecture in China with the mosques he had built. Even when he organized a campaign for the conquest, he had a mosque, madrasa, or library restored at the points he passed. Otherwise, he ordered them to be built. The world witnessed the magnificence of Mansa Musa's wealth for the first time on his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324. After deciding to make a pilgrimage, he asked his prosperous people to donate gold and provisions for this great journey. Kilos of gold and supplies came from all over the country. Moses, who left the empire to his son Mohammed, set out with 70 camels, each loaded with 130 kilos of gold, 500 slaves carrying golden staffs, concubines, and a large convoy of 60,000 people who wanted to go on pilgrimage, which was equivalent to a large army at that time. Musa, who built mosques, helped the poor, and distributed gold throughout the journey, distributed so much gold as charity in Cairo, one of the cities he stayed, that the value of gold in Egypt fell and the country's economy, which had been in crisis for 12 years, recovered. The tradesmen became rich even in the shopping made only by those in the convoy trade, and therefore the economy revived in the country. He also bought land and property for the pilgrims in his convoy from the places he passed through during the Great Crucifixion. The money spent by the Mali Empire and its people during the pilgrimage journey had a great impact not only in the Middle East, but also in Europe thanks to the Venetian merchants. Europeans wondered about this rich country and its ruler. Venetian merchants began to talk in their countries that Mali was the most important trade center of Africa. This legendary crucifixion caused many events that would change the history of the world. Already in famine, European traders turned their eyes to this virgin continent, which they never knew. In 1488, the Portuguese counterpart, Bartolomeu Dias, traveled the coast of the continent, and when he passed the Cape of Hope, a detailed map of Africa was drawn. From this perspective, Mansa Musa, did we do well or badly by introducing Africa to the world? It's really hard to decide, because Europe, with its appetite, would take its breath in Africa with the geographical discoveries and the development of maritime, and the foundations of colonization would be laid in this period. The fate of the continent would change with explorations and occupations, and all its natural wealth would fall into the hands of Western countries, which we now call developed. There is no clear information in history about the death of this ruler, who was the most powerful, rich, fortunate and most feared by his enemies, and who did so much good to his environment. We only know that he died of natural causes when he was 50 years old.